Hi, I'm Mike Nelson with Thoughts from the Driver's Seat. Today I'm going to be talking about this camera here that's watching me while I'm driving. And I actually have an improved opinion on some of the safety features in the Tesla as it relates to this object. So as I'm driving down the road, I've noticed that I'm starting to get warnings if my eyes are not looking down the road and the car is saying pay attention. So we're going to show you how quickly that happens and how easily you can run afoul of Tesla's watching you to make sure you're watching the road. Now, before that, Tesla was making sure you were paying attention by a haptic control. Are you touching the car? So you get a warning if your hand's on the steering wheel. You're just basically holding the steering wheel so it feels you there. But frankly, you could do the same thing with a leg. So this is absolutely an improvement in that if I'm looking somewhere else, even this touch screen, which is a bit ironic, for too long, I'll get that message of pay attention. Let's hit the road. So I'm going to put the car in full self-driving. 2 clicks on the stalk. Before this, I had opted on screens to move it from autopilot, which is not full self-driving, into full self-driving. The car is driving right now, and it's paying attention as to whether or not I hold onto the steering wheel, and also whether or not I'm looking down the road. So I'm going to take my hands slightly off the steering wheel, see how long it takes. We're doing 55 in a 55 mile an hour zone, 1 lane in each direction. And I should get a message here saying, it should be a blue light first saying, in essence, put your hands back on the wheel. Now, I have oncoming traffic coming at me, so there's the blue light. So, to make the car feel comfortable, you touch the steering wheel and you hold it. You're not really steering it, you're just putting a little bit of pressure on this wheel. So, hands off again, you'll see another blue light come up, which means put your hand back on the wheel. But then you also will occasionally get this message here, apply slight turning force, which I've done, and it goes off. Is that paying attention? One can argue that for a long time, but I can hold on to the steering wheel with my foot and my knee, and the car is going to feel that same haptic contact, and I'm not going to get that message. But what I did notice is that if I look at a phone while I'm doing this, I will start to get a message that will say, pay attention. I didn't see the phone lit up. So now the car has recognized that while my hand is on the steering wheel and arguably paying attention, that I was not paying attention enough because I looked at my cell phone. The irony to this is I do not want to get that message that I'm not paying attention to the road. Tesla only gives you so many of those before it turns the system off. And then if it does turn the system off because you've been an unsafe driver, it will tell you that you have a certain number of strikes before it permanently disables that feature. So if you want to be able to use full self-driving, it behooves you not to look at your cell phone while you're driving, because 1, you don't want the message, it's annoying. 2, if you get too many of those messages, it turns full self-driving off for that drive, and you have to pull over, put it in park, and put it back in drive again to reset it. And then the most onerous of all this is if you get too many of those warnings or circumstances, it will disable full self-driving for you because you're not safe enough. The history of this camera in the cockpit and looking at the driver, there's been a lot of conflicting things said by Tesla about the purpose of this, how active it is, how much it's recording supporting you as a person as opposed to just getting feedback for the company. But it's very clear that what Tesla's doing is it's no longer satisfied that this haptic control, where arguably you can put pressure on the steering wheel with just your knee or a finger but not pay attention, is not safe enough. And what Tesla's going to be transitioning to is using this camera to decide whether or not you're safe enough to drive its car in full self-driving. I'll see you the next time on the road ahead. Zoom, zoom.